Right. Hello, y'all. Good morning. So, I wanted to come and do an update just to talk. Um, well, not just to talk, but just to update people on everything that's going on. Um, it seems like every time I talk to one of my clients, they're asking me, have I moved back home yet? And so I thought that I would just come on here real quick and answer questions that people may be having about us going back home. And I've had people suggest to me that I don't be public with that as far as with moving. I've had people do it. I've had people say that. Saying that maybe I shouldn't discuss it publicly. And while that may be I don't even think it would be the easy way of doing things. I'm not a fugitive of the law. Um, I am not a kidnapping victim. I'm not divorcing anybody. I'm not anybody's victim. So I feel that us, not just me, us moving back home should not be up for discussion and it should not be up for debate. I'm not anybody important in my humble opinion. I don't I'm not a celebrity. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of freaked me out a whole lot. Um, as far as like some of the attention that I have gotten, which has been negative, and it's been going on for a decade now. For some reason, when I moved to Georgia 10 years ago, there was a lot of attention being brought to that. And I think that people that have genuine respect and opulence, if there's any respect or if there's any opulence or if there's any type of credibility, then people should know that that has been the wrong thing to happen. Keep in mind, I am a grown woman. It's weird. It's very weird and strange. Some of the things that I have went through or have witnessed. I don't even want to say that I went through, but just things that I have witnessed. And I think that a lot of those things are possible issues that I feel that needs to be addressed in the Black community as well as Black families. Gossip, slander, disrespect, infantilizing, almost degrading one another. I don't agree with those types of things. I really don't. I don't like it. I'm not into it. Um, it's it was awful. It really is awful how just the display of dysfunction, just the display of dysfunction has just been astronomical. It's just been awful. It's been terrible. Um, in the past 10 years has just been absolutely awful. It's just, wow. You know what I mean? Like, something as simple as me moving to Georgia turned into hell, turned into war, people crying wolf, people wanting to use me for clout. It's been horrible. Oh God. Just awful. I think that the adults that facilitated that should be the ones held responsible. I don't think that it's fair to me and my children and grandchildren to be caught in the middle of people's debacle. And then, of course, in between that time, I lost my mother in 2021 and have been wanting to move back home ever since then. Of course, I believe in what I believe in. I believe that part of the reason why I didn't had nothing to do with anybody on this platform that makes videos. It's all about me. My life is all about me. I don't fit in other people's lives as some puzzle piece. Um, and it's been quite a bit of let's blame Jamila for everything based upon some of the experiences that I have discussed that happened to me as a child, which things that you may discuss that you've experienced as a child, adults in social media should not latch on to that and then try to treat you like that as an adult. It's been shameful. But at the same time, people doing things because they don't actually feel responsible for the things that they do to other people because they're behind a computer. People feel less responsible. But I think people need to keep in mind that this is social media and this is something that reflects on who you are as a person. I did a live talking about healing from trauma, and I meant what I said about it. The past 10 years or so of experiences that I've had, and then even not, carrying the baggage of other people's trauma is something that I'm definitely purging. It's something that somebody that knows about witchcraft and healing is something that I am purging my mind and my body and spirit of. And people can't argue with those flames. People can't argue with nature. They can't. You know, I've been having quite a large amount of back pain here lately, and it hasn't been that bad. It's been like maybe pain level at a 2 or a 3. You know what I mean? But it's still a sign and a symptom of me not only having to deal with my own personal stuff that I should be able to deal with, but then also dealing with other people's stuff as far as being a healer. I think that all healers and people that provide spiritual services to people, I think that after a certain amount of time, I think that it's important for you to cleanse and release a lot of that stuff. Cleansing does not necessarily denote returning to sender. Obviously, if there's certain things that as a mom, as somebody's wife, you're gonna have to deal with and transmute as somebody that does spiritual work for people. You're 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 not gonna be sending that stuff necessarily back to a loved one or a client. You know, you're gonna be transmuting that energy. You're not gonna necessarily, it's something that you're essentially taking some kind of responsibility for, and an extra 500 or 600 or 1,000 people, I shouldn't have to carry the weight of those people. And I really feel that I've been fighting against being forced to carry on the baggage of situations and things that I'm not responsible for. You know what I mean? So it's been, for me, being a black girl and a person that made the choice to take my path, which I don't believe I was given much of a choice. Honestly, when I see people making it seem like going down this path that I went down is a choice, I don't agree with them. Just looking back at my whole life, it was something that I was destined to do um, as a trade. You know what I mean? As a career, um, and it's not something that you can just say, "Oh, I don't want to do it," because I realized after almost 40 years that I didn't have a choice. That it was something that I was gonna have to do. And if people don't understand that, well, then that's just too bad. That's too bad. And it's been extra trauma on top of trauma. I've been dealing with thousands of people's trauma, thousands, over the past decade. Luckily for us, the gods and the deities that I believe in really do exist. That's a lot to put on one person. That's awful. That's some of the trauma I've been dealing with. And I wanted to open up about that real quick. I wanted to open up about the level of trauma that I've been kind of faced with dealing with other people's stuff. You know what I'm saying? People that I'm not even responsible for. I'm not a free ride. I'm not a person that you can just dump your crap on. I'm not. And I feel that people, they're, by their beliefs, they feel that it's okay for them to scapegoat on other people, and I don't. That is not a part of my spiritual beliefs. I am dealing with looking at people and situations and spiritual beliefs that I don't believe in. Like, for example, religion. I see it as a sickness. I see it as something is wrong here. And I'm never going to change how I feel about it. I'm never going to change. And I'm confused about, I'm extremely confused about how my channel, my social media, anywhere would become bombarded with people that believe in certain things and live by it. It's honestly very scary. It is. Like, for example, when I pointed out how sick it is, like, I used to have like a crucifix of this man that is hanging on a cross, dead and tortured and suffering. I actually, and I feel like for me, it brought bad juju into my home, and I just didn't realize it. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, and it's very difficult when you feel like it's some kind of conspiracy being carried out against you, to where you're being forced to accept other people's beliefs. I've been releasing a lot of the trauma behind feeling like there's this literal conspiracy against me to force me to deal with things that are very painful. When I have my own beliefs that I live by, and it's very scary and traumatizing at the same time. And so I am leaving YouTube as far as when it comes to spirituality. I spoke about things that I'm interested in. I am not interested in Christianity. If that means that I have to not be accepted by family, if family wants to demonize me, and I'm not talking about my kids, the kids, they're not like that necessarily. I've asked people to be respectful of me as their mother, to not talk to my children about your religious beliefs or what you think about what their mama does. I don't agree with that. I think that that is extremely disrespectful. I think that if your mother believes in religion, then so be it. But I think that When you believe in something totally different, I don't agree with people trying to minister your children. Because as the saying goes, mama knows best. You don't tell my children what to believe in. And you don't try to talk my children into turning away from me, because that could be dangerous for them. So it's a lot that's going on that is extremely disrespectful. It is very triggering to me. All because I feel that people don't want to deal with their own mistakes. I have felt scapegoated on a lot in my life. I have felt like people have used me as like this tool to absorb their negativity. And typically, the way people have done that, and I recognize it every single time when people have done that, is they will appear to to pretend as though they are okay with me, but then they'll flip, and the next thing you know, I'm carrying their weight in some kind of way, and I don't like it. I feel like there's a better way. You know what I mean? So I don't agree with that. I don't. And I will stop speaking to people that do that to me. I will not speak to you. I will not have anything to do with you. I will not talk to you if you are doing that to me. If you are trying to force your beliefs onto me, this is when I walk away from people. You know what I mean? Because what's good for you may not be good for me. And I felt like I've been forced. I felt like it's been very abusive. And I do not like it. I don't. I don't know if it's some kind of secret society that's having these meetings about me that are saying, hey, let's just dump all of our shit on Jamila. Because that's what a person is doing. If a person has problems and they don't exactly know how to deal with those problems, and instead of dealing with those problems, they're talking about somebody else very intensely, I believe that that is what those people are doing. Those people are taking everything, all of their baggage, and they're putting it on that person. Even if you don't believe in witchcraft, then we all can believe in energy transference. So I don't agree with doing that to people. I don't. And I don't like it. And I don't do it because this is exactly what we're dealing with. Probably about 80 to 90% of the cases that I take on for my clients, their adversary is doing just that. I have problems, I have issues, and I need to take all of that negative energy and I need to put it off on that person. And I think that a lot of people have a tendency to do that subconsciously to people that are not responsible for whatever it is that they are going through. This is a fact. I would say probably 80 to 90% of your return to senders are going to be based upon people trying to put their crap on other people. Yes, I do believe in spirit possession. Yes, I do believe in demonic possession. But when you're dealing with somebody that is walking around talking, somebody that that has a family, somebody that exists. I believe that when you are trying to put your crap on that person, that's just all it is to it. And there's no getting around it, no matter what excuses that you make for it. So, and I don't know when Jamila turned into people's Jesus figure, but we not gonna have that. I'm just telling you, I'm not responsible for whatever decisions that someone else made for their life. I refuse to be responsible for it. And you know what? You're gonna feel it. The only people that I am responsible for are myself, my children, my grandchildren, whatever husband I have chosen, and the clients that pay me to deal with their issues. Otherwise, I'm not the church. I don't do stuff for free. No, I am not Jesus. And I'm just not going to do it. I honestly, and I think people don't even realize that that's what they're doing. So I am not, and I don't believe any, because I believe that everybody's bad energy, everybody's bad karma, I believe that ultimately they end up being held responsible for whatever it is. Okay, I believe in that. I don't believe in, oh, let's put all our demons on someone else. No, I don't believe in that. I don't even believe it actually works. So I'm, and I'm not gonna just say that I don't believe in it. I'm gonna show people that it doesn't work. It doesn't. Your anger and when somebody is raging against another person, you are literally projecting your crap to other people, and people don't have to take that. People can choose to take that out of kindness of their heart, but nobody has to be kind to you. What I've been dealing with the past couple of days is residual trauma from my significant other. You know what? I'm willing to deal with that because I love him. Otherwise, if I don't want to deal with something, I'm not going to deal with it. The reason why he's significant to me is because we have a connection, and that's just what it is. So I don't have to deal with other people's iniquities unless I have a choice. Like when I make a choice to take on a client, I'm dealing with their stuff. 500, 600 witnesses to somebody that wants to have some kind of crap to where they're choosing to take several people that they only know from the internet, that they tried to meet up with or something, to try to form some kind of connection with that person so they can sacrifice them. I don't agree with that. So it's literally like I've seen people do it. I've sat and watched people do it, even on YouTube. People talking about other people, people literally taking 1 to 10 people, and this group of people basically watching, witnessing, and dumping all their crap on that person. I've watched people do it, and it's bullshit. Whoever it is that's goddamn responsible for your trauma, they are the ones that have to deal with that. Innocent people don't have to deal with whoever is responsible for your trauma unless they choose to. But you're not going to force people to deal with your trauma. Nobody is forced to do it. They either do it out the kindness of their heart, and if there is no benefit to them doing it, nobody has to take people's crap like that. Because I've seen people rage on other people, their crap. And I've seen it so many times, and I've been privy to it. I've had people do that to me, and it's unfair because I'm not responsible for what traumatized thousands of people. Are you kidding me? All of you that sit and look at certain things on the internet, especially when you enjoy bullying and harassment and stalking, you know what you're doing? You are participating in that. Taking an innocent person and trying to be a destructive force to put your crap into this innocent person. And I've seen people do it, and I don't agree with it. And it's never going to work. It's never going to work for you. You don't realize that that's what you're doing, but that's what you're doing. And then people purposely discounting relationships so that they can come to social media and become a part of platforms that are doing just this. Well, you know what? Hey, it's your responsibility. Go out there and find the person that you're supposed to commune with on that. Go find the person. There is a person walking around out there that is for you, that is supposed to heal that trauma with you, not some complete stranger on the internet, and not some poor helpless person of your church who is unsuspecting. I see that a lot. I know exactly what you're doing. And even my job as a healer, it's not my job as a healer and as a spiritualist and a witch for any client to dump their crap on me. It's not. And I've had people do it. I'm doing spiritual work for people does not equal spiritual dumping ground. That's not what it is. Okay, especially when it's somebody that's willing to assist with healing and things of that nature. So that's not what that is. And you know what? In the past year or so, for some reason, I have actually had clients come and attempt to dump their bad energy on me as if I'm some kind of spiritual toilet. No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. You may want that to be the case, but it's not gonna happen. But then again, I've had tons and tons of clients who are great people. If you are a client that has an intention of dumping your crud on a spiritualist, that is exactly what's going to happen. A client that doesn't have that intention, that's not going to happen at all. And that is what separates a spiritual client that has an intention of doing that versus one that appreciates the person. Okay. So that I want to put that out in the open. Us that are doing work for people, we're not here to take on you know, for you to just dump this spiritual war and you do it, and I'm not going to do anything else. You do it. You deal with it. It's like, well, okay, where's my $1 million then? Where's my 10 million? You ain't paid me $1 million to dump your crap off on me. That's not how it works. So it's been a lot. It has. It's been a lot. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're a spiritual client that has an understanding of transmutation, transmuting, then there's a difference. So, um, hold on a minute, y'all. Anyway, let me get into the update that I wanted to give to people. I did not have a certain date that I said that I was going to be back in Kansas City. In fact, around the time that I was even able to make moves like that was around the winter time. Uh, in November, in December, in January, in February, as well as March, we were still experiencing weather throughout the United States. We were still experiencing weather. And yes, it is going to be a road trip that I am going to drive. I am going to drive back home. Okay. That's the mode of transportation. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm back, y'all. So I don't understand why a group or a crowd of people have been bombarding me and my fucking family with their bullshit. I am so irritated with it. I am not your child. I am a mother. I am a grown woman, and I should not have to be bombarded with anybody's fucking judgment. I don't know where or why people have decided to do that, questioning and judging and making live streams about why this and why the when it's not your business, it's not your decision. I don't understand why I have had a crowd of people literally trying to be my mommies and my daddies, You're not my mother. You're not my father. You're not the boss of me. I am not your fucking prisoner. You don't tell me what to do. You don't say what I should do because you don't know what's going on. This is the difference between me and you. I am the expert. I know my journey. I go with my flow of my journey. You don't get to tell me what to do. If spirit wanted me, if it was a part of my journey to stay in Georgia for whatever reason, which has a lot to do with my significant other, that is my business. You are not going to force me to not give a fuck about love. That's another thing that I've noticed. I met the man that I love back in July of last year, and people tried to dictate that experience, and you are not going to be allowed to do that. You are not going to tell me what I should be doing. You're not going to tell me that I am a bad mother or a bad person because I give a fuck about love. You're not going to tell me, oh, your priorities are not fucking straight because you feel a closeness with this man that you feel is your husband. You're not going to do that to me. You're not going to force that dysfunction on to me. Here's another thing. Yeah, I could have easily, back in January, I could have easily, if I were staying in Georgia, I could have, and this is sad. The Black community is fucking sad for me to even have to discuss this, and everybody knows how pathetic and broken it is. How the Black community carries on. Yes, back in January, I could have gotten an apartment or a house down here in Georgia. I didn't want to. Why is it that I feel in Georgia, the Black people serve as these captors, as kidnappers? Like, you're just gonna force somebody. You claim that you want to get rid of me. You claim you don't want me around, but yet you do everything in your power to stop me or to try to hinder me from doing what I want to do. It's it's weird. It's terrible. Hold on real quick, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. So listen, I don't owe anybody an explanation. I don't like being under people's scope or radar. I'm going to be changing a lot of this today. Today has got to be the day. It does. Today has got to be the day. I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with people constantly. Like, it is awful. It is. Today is the day where grown men who are out in social media, like last night, I shouldn't have had to have heard for the 99th million time some fucking man in social media talking about my vagina. That does not reflect who I am or what I'm going through or if I'm cursed or not. Oh, this man just keeps talking about your vagina. You're cursed. No, the fuck I'm not. He's cursed. So I don't deal with nobody in society that sits up there and allows a fucking grown ass man. No grown man should be in social media saying, "Oh, and you fucking so and so," and you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people know that me and my significant other are not in the same physical location. It seems like ever since these grown ass men in social media have found out that I am dealing with someone else, that they have consistently and persistently tried. They have consistently and persistently tried to drive a wedge or to make him feel some type of way. When since me and him have been separated, of course, I have been with nobody. I have been faithful to him. I have been loyal to him. I've not been with anybody. So you know what? If you have an invested interest in my love life or my sex life or anything that has to do with my personal life, you're fucked. You're fucked. If you are somebody that is hell bent on trying to manipulate my love life or my sex life with the hopes that my significant other is watching and listening to you, you're fucked. You're not gonna have a, you're not. If you have an invested interest on trying to fuck with my business in any kind of way, you're fucked. You're fucked. If you have an invested interest on controlling how people see me and you're a narcissist, today you're fucked. And I promise you that. And like I said, anybody that has been doing that should be canceled. I'm disgusted by the behaviors that I've seen of these people. The fact that so that you can try to front like you somebody in social media, you're trying to fuck with people's real life. I don't respect you. And nobody else should. I don't feel that a lot of these people on here are even living a real life, but yet and it's obvious that they're not, because they're constantly, they just want people in social media to kind of like, what do you call that, like worship them like they're gods or something. And you think that you think that to prove that you're fucking with people's real life, and you're fucked. If you try to fuck with my real life, you're fucked. That's all I gotta say is that you're fucked. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. As far as me moving, as far as us moving, yes, we are still moving. That's something that I'm not running from the law. I'm not leaving a bad relationship. I'm not divorcing. There has been no abusive relationship that I have to flee from. And I need to go to a domestic violence shelter. No. Okay, so yes, we are still moving. Like I said, I didn't realize how difficult it would be to move an entire spiritual business. That's not easy, especially when you're doing spiritual work for people. It's not easy. If you're not a person that is doing that, then of course you wouldn't understand it. And I've got people question, if you're worried about what Jamila is doing and it's bothering you, that's on you. Because maybe you should have worried about something else. Maybe you should have focused. What did you do with? Okay, I'm back. So I've got immature people on the internet talking about I'm homeless, even though I'm traveling, trying to, even if a person was homeless, why in the fuck would you be shaming them for that? People trying to be disruptive, trying to make it seem like when people know damn well I'm leaving, and then saying, well, why haven't you done it yet? Apparently you're not leaving. No, you need to hear it from the horse's mouth. Nobody else can judge me. I'm I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it and I'm tired of it. And if these adults do not start exhibiting better behavior, they're going to regret it. And I'm not joking. I'm not. We going to put this in, we going to put this puppy to rest today. For real. Right now. So all this crap and crud, if you go to other people's platform to think that you're going to become all of a sudden a fucking expert on Jamila, you're fucking sadly mistaken. I personally think, based upon what I've heard of you people that gather to hear people talk about certain people, because that's why you watch them, I think you're sick. I think you need mental help to even require that type of talk. I don't agree with it. There are people on this platform that go to these people's channels just so that they can hear people say perverted shit, just so that they can hear people talk shit. I'm disgusted by the behaviors of people. Now, the only thing I can think of that gives me a little bit of hope in humanity is that these people have to be fluffing their views. When I see them getting 600, 1,000 views, 2.5K views, it makes me lose faith in humanity. But then I have to think about it. These people are possibly fluffing up their views. They're buying views. They have to be. There's no way 600, 700 people are that fucking sick and dumb and twisted and disgusting. There's no fucking way. You want to go there? 600, 1,000 people want to go to a person's platform and hear them talk about the same disgusting shit over and over again? Gross. I'm actually grossed out by it. Who does that? Who wants to go to like literally the same shit over and over again? Over and over again. The same dysfunctional shit about the same people. You're sick. Give a fuck who you think you are, how much money you got. Money don't matter if that's the case. Money is of no consequence. You need to take some of that money and go get some therapy. Especially when you need to hear an exaggerated version of a person's story and you feel so the need to stand in judgment of that person based upon some sick idiot, some sick MC, and they're not even an MC. They're a liar and a fraud saying these things. Like, I'm just disgusted. So the only thing the only thing that gives me faith in humanity is that they fluffing their views. Okay. So, and I think it's all glamour, personally. That's why I don't sit and listen to it over and over again. Okay. The same thing over and over again, just repeatedly, back to back, the same thing. Same story. Same story. Jamila Tiffany Cat. This other person. Da, 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 da. I don't believe that there's 700 people that want to sit and listen to that. It's not even that interesting of a story. Of course, if something like that is going on, what's happening is that the person telling the story has to be fluffing it, has to be exaggerating the story. They would almost have to be for it to even be interesting at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not privy to that. I'm not gonna be a part of that. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. Okay, I'm done with that. Not going to, for the rest of my life, have to come on here and say, hey, no, I don't mess with this person. No, I don't mess with that person. I see that there are some people that obviously like that kind of attention. I do not want to, for the rest of my life, have to come on YouTube and say, hey, no, I don't talk to that person. That's stupid. That's stupid. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it to be real. I don't believe it to be based upon anybody that is of sound mind, body, and spirit. There's no way in hell that you can convince me that a bunch of people want to sit and listen to that bullshit over and over again. Okay? So some changes are going to have to be made. I don't care if I'm on YouTube or not. There are a lot of people that are on YouTube that are very mentally ill making videos that, you know, that maybe a restraining order will stop those people. Okay? And a lot of these people will say things like, oh, well, it's my freedom of speech. No, it becomes a fine line between your freedom of speech. Just because some sick people on the internet want to continuously like I don't get it. I really don't. I still don't get it. Okay. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I would appreciate it if my family would be respected. I know that it's very difficult. Respect is a difficult thing in the Black community, apparently. Apparently, having basic decency and respect for other people is a problem. Apparently, this is an issue. Um, you know, people deserve their privacy. People deserve to have their privacy, not have to continuously go back and forth with people. It's disgusting. I'm absolutely disgusted by a lot of the things that have been happening. And I will tell you that there is war, but it's not the type of war that a lot of these people are used to. It's the type of war that you can't see. You may be able to smell it, but you can definitely touch it. So I'm waging war against these people. My spirits are waging war against these people. I am absolutely sickened and disgusted. Every time I see one of these people, they have this glazed over fucking look on their fucking face and they just weird and it's them. It has absolutely nothing to do with what is supposed to be happening in my life. And then, you know, me being sexually violated over and over again and people expecting me to ignore it. As if I'm supposed to be used to sexual violations. I'm not used to being sexually violated like that. That's sexual harassment. Yes, I am. Yes, we are moving back home. No, it is nobody's business as to when. Yes, I am still very much involved with and working out the issue with my significant other. No, I will never deal with certain people on this platform that have sexually violated me. Think about it. Who in the fuck would be with a man that dropped revenge porn on them and is obviously against them? Who the fuck would do that? Not too many people, not anybody. So I would really appreciate it if people would understand that what went on between me and that person was not normal. I've been sexually violated well over 300 times. There is actual porn of me on websites that women on this platform facilitated and encouraged and uploaded because they're acquainted with this dude. If anybody that accuses me or anybody that says that, anybody that tries that with me, just know that there is a silent war that is happening. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's you know, I have no idea, but no, I would never, ever, ever deal with somebody that literally puts sexual images of me out there. No. And you know what? At this point, what I was saying is that all of this shit, we're forgetting about it. We're forgetting about it. Best thing for us to do at this point is to forget and move on. No, I'm not going to keep responding to it verbally. But please believe that yeah, my spirits and God and the deities, they are going to see it and they're going to deal with it accordingly. If you have a problem with a woman not accepting being abused, being sexually abused, then that's your problem.
Mango's just stuffy.
Is it stuffy? Okay. Just know that listen, just know that nobody's cool with that over here. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. The sexual violation has been real. And I think it's too many people that are just blasé about it as if it's normal and it's not. And this has been a consistent problem with the Black community as well. Just sexual abuse, and then people sitting around, with people, with nicknames like Cracker Cat and making racist jokes and shit. I don't want to be a part of that fucking conversation any longer. I am disgusted and sickened by what the hell has been going on. And I know for a fact that there are some people, a friend of mine, he was actually just texting me. A friend of mine was saying that there are certain fetish websites and stuff that gay men go to, and some gay women go to these websites and they enjoy being subjugated, as if they're slaves. I don't. I don't. And I think that what drives a lot of these people is their weird off sexual nature, which is not a part of my sexuality at all. To the point where I don't even feel comfortable with talking. You can't even talk. You can't even have an adult conversation on here with it. It just, I just wish that whoever these people are that are a part of somebody's sick fetish, for them to leave me the fuck alone, because I'm starting to get to the point where I'm tired of it. I've been feeling like I wanted to puke ever since last night. It is absolutely disgusting having some dude that you don't know that's already been sexually harassing you speaking about you sexually. Like, I'm not used to that shit and I never will get used to it. And I'm waging war against anybody who's doing it. I'm declaring war against you. And trust and believe, it's my body, it's my temple, it's my energy. You lose every single time. I don't care what you think, what standards you set for yourself. And I've always said this to a lot of my clients and the people that I love. At the end of the day, when people say, to witches. You don't have no power. Those are people that are trying to take your power away from you, and they want power over you. And you have to make sure that you let those people know, no, I do have power over me. And I have the power to defend myself. You and this is one of the reasons why I don't do BDSM. It seems like it's like a BDSM club or something. I don't know what they doing. All I know is that whatever fantasies that they have about me is gonna turn into a fucking nightmare in hell. Shouldn't have been never talking about me to begin with in the first place. Um, the trauma behind, and some of y'all even get off on that. It's so sick the way these men, if a person mentions, hey, you're hurting people by saying that they want to do it more. It's like, you're disgusting. And that's why we know that you've never experienced any kind of real love. Because nobody wants to hear people talk about the people that they love like that. And if you think that you're going to make the people that I love walk away from me and abandon me, you got another damn thing coming. Just because you can't stop running your mouth and you're a pervert, I got something for you every single time. I can promise you that. Okay. Yeah. And no, that's not a part of Southern culture either. I've heard people come on here and say this is a part of the Southern culture. Sometimes I think that those people are from another country or another. They're immigrants. No, that's not a part of Southern culture. I've spoken to many Southerners, and these don't try to put that shit off on these people down here. Don't try to put your ignorance and your perversion off on people in the South. Oh, that's just how they do it in the South. No, they don't. People in the South are decent people. Yeah, it's traumatizing shit that goes on in the South, just like it's traumatizing shit and dysfunction that goes on everywhere. But that doesn't mean that people in the South are just inherently evil and they just go around doing that, just like people in the Midwest don't do that. That's just like that chick, that white woman from Kansas City. She doesn't represent Kansas City. She doesn't represent the white population in Kansas City. She doesn't represent the people that I deal with or dealt with in Kansas City, Missouri. So the sick stuff that she's involved with obviously has nothing to do with the people that I get down with. So a lot of these people that are running around here trying to, like, please explain to me how your off-putting, fucked up behavior, why do they think that that represents the other person? Like, I don't understand this consciousness that we're in. Especially when it comes to being conservative. All of a sudden, especially with African American people in social media, they're feeling strongly like they have to, like, throw each other under the bus. You know what I'm saying? And then a few years ago, there was like this attack on single mothers, and or mothers that were divorced. Of course, we all had to divorce a person at a point. Why are you in social media harassing those women? These men need to be questioned and admonished for what they have done. And I'll make sure of it. We live in a sad, sad society. Anytime you have a man in social media berating a woman for being single with children, this is a fucking problem. You don't know that woman's situation. You can't judge everybody. You can't judge nobody, actually. But I'm disgusted by that. Abusive men are not going to have any power. If you're an abuser, You're powerless and you're dirt under my fucking feet. Let's just put it like that. If you're not a healing force, driving force for your community, you have no power. And if I catch you doing it, I'll make sure of it. Hey, listen, as a divine feminine that is connected to a divine masculine, that is connected to that energy, I wage war against men, and no man will be allowed to commit tyranny in that way and run amok. And I mean that shit. First of all, you're not doing your communities any good. You're not making marriages happen. You're not making breakups not happen. You're not doing anything to create any kind of stability for anybody's community by doing that. In fact, you should have no say so in the decision makings that's going on in your community. And I can promise you that you are left already powerless in the dust burning. Trust me. That discussion is dead. Gathering up people so that you can talk about how single mothers have done this because you bitter about your baby mama leaving you. We gonna make sure that you shut the fuck up permanently. Because clearly, by the way you speak in your conversation, we know why your baby mama left you. People on here crying and harassing and attacking people because they baby mama left them 10 years ago. And we don't care if you have people supporting you. We don't care if your current girlfriend is okay with that. She's desperate. You're not going to create a problem and a hostile situation for the people in the community because you mad and bitter, when in reality maybe it just wasn't meant for you to be with that person. And maybe instead of just saying fuck the whole thing, throwing out the baby with the bathwater, maybe if the situation did not work out, maybe it was meant for you to move on and maybe properly co-parent with your ex-wife. You ever think about that? That would be a more healthier approach. Anybody doing anything unhealthy, especially if it's against me or affects me, is going to get these spiritual hands. And trust me, they're stronger than yours. You know, just FYI, women fought for hundreds of years, which it was actually a new age concept for women to not even be allowed to divorce during a brief time in history. Women were not allowed to divorce. It wasn't like that all the time. That was a brief part of history that we ain't gonna never bring back. If that man is abusive and that woman can't handle it, she don't know what to do about it, especially if he's physically abusive. If she can't handle it, listen, that woman has every right to say, you know what, I got to get away from this situation. And you know what, every state, every county is going to support that woman. Okay, if you don't like it and you're a man, become a better man. Become a man that a woman actually wants to stay with. Then straight up and down. Otherwise, you come at me with that cockamamie crap and you gonna have nothing but problems. It's called life. Life is life. And not too many people are stuck on the fact that they had to walk away from their ex-husband or their baby daddy 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago. Hopefully they're not doing that. What a lot of these men in this black manosphere have been doing is they have been keeping people stuck. And that energy is not good. Okay. Okay. Anyway, you guys, I gotta go. I'll talk to y'all later. No, we are not out on the streets. No, we are not homeless. Um, Here's another thing. Getting displaced from that house, I don't know if people thought that that meant that I was going to shut down my business. I don't know if people thought that. People thought wrong. Wherever I am located out of, I can run my business from there, wherever I am at or location. Pass me that spray if you don't, or and it should be down there, right there. You see it? Yeah. So, people need to stop, quit being codependent on other people. If you're running a business on this platform, your business should not be dependent on what happens with Jamila. If your business is codependent on what Jamila does, says, who I date, whether or not I'm single or not, well, then you actually don't have a business. Your business is a fraud. It's not real. I couldn't even come on here and speak candidly about meeting someone without people going into action and saying that he doesn't exist. Because apparently there's some people, when I live my life, there's a problem. That's just like when it comes to my newest grandbaby. People running around here wishing death on the baby, wishing death on my daughter. I got to prove this. I got to prove that I can do black death magic on you, and I'm trying to use you as some fucking guinea pig. That's how we can tell that you're a fraud. Anyway, we can tell that you're a fraud that way. Because and you know what? I want to say this for the spiritual community. What I have noticed is that people that claim that they were spiritualists, or witches, all of a sudden, these particular people, it was like they picked up a candle and it was like a shiny new toy. And a lot of these people was putting curses out there on people, trying to do stuff to people, sending people bad energy just for the fuck of it, because they was brand new to what they was doing and they wanted to use it like a toy. Those were bad decisions that you made, and you gonna have to deal with that. Curses and things should be done out of necessity. They shouldn't be done just because, oh, I just started practicing witchcraft and now I want to test something out. I want to test this and test that. And what a way to get in trouble by the spirits. And yeah, you are not God, and there are people regulating you. There are energies and deities that are regulating you. You can't just run around here and say, I want to throw this and throw that spell at people and throw that at people. That was I didn't understand that. And you know, I'm not saying that what you did didn't work on some people. You didn't get me put out of my house. You a goddamn lie. That was called a slumlord with a reputation. And trust me, these people wanted to take responsibility for a slumlord that has been slumming lording for years. Literally has a reputation. That's why I exposed it. They tried to make it seem like, oh, she got put out because of me, and I'm a psychic because I saw that coming. No, hun, you're not a psychic and saw that coming. You saw the court documentation is what you saw. You could pretty much guess the date that it was going to happen because a writ of possession happens typically 7 days after it's issued by a judge. So you a damn lie. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. You know how many people in this world become displaced because of bad landlords? Like literally you're trying to take something that is a literal epidemic, you know, especially in the South, Georgia, Alabama. It's really bad. And running around here trying to make it seem like, you know, that I don't know. I believe in resolving issues and problems is what I believe in. I believe in making things better in the community is what I believe. And so, you know, I'm still not understanding why people, I mean, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just yeah, so I just, you know, being a witch or an occultist or a spiritualist does not equal being an irresponsible fucking person. And I think that that's irresponsible. I think that to not look at things that are clearly problematic, especially politically, and, you know, trying to take credit for things like that, you know what I'm saying? I think that just makes you irresponsible. It does. It makes you irresponsible. There's a bottle up underneath the bed. Hmm. So I don't understand, folk. I really don't. I'm one of them type of people that believes in striving for the best, not, not some. It's been extremely disappointing the things that I've seen people do, and I don't want to, and if I catch you doing it, like even in spirit, like because honestly, the things that people try to do spiritually, like I can see people's rituals and stuff. I can see what you're doing. My spirits can see what you're doing, and they're just disgusted by some of the things that people are trying to do. And if you're obsessed, you think you can ever destroy me and my family, you are sadly mistaken. It's people on here that think that they have the power to harm me and my loved ones, and they don't. You'll never convince me of that. Convincing you, you'd have to convince me, and you ain't never doing that. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm tired of it. I don't want to be I I don't want to no longer be some fucking experiment for these people. And I'm gonna tell you something, neither does my spirits, and they will show you. That's all I know. And you can't complain about it or whine about it when it happens. You can't. Okay. Because we are tired of it. We are, and the best thing, like I said the other day, is for people to not continuously harass me about it or talk about it. The best thing for you to do is to clean up your behavior and stop doing what you're doing and allow me to just forget about your ass. For real. Because it's been just absolutely disgusting. And I've been running my spiritual business for years, and never has it been necessary for me to do that. I put up this channel in 2015, and I immediately started getting clients, and been getting clients ever since. Never was it required for me to drop anybody's documents. Never was it required for me to chase and stalk somebody. I'm just, yeah, I'm just extremely floored by what the crap that I've seen happen on here, and I think that what people need to do is stop looking at people. That's just like, let's say in a couple of months, after me and my significant other get back together, and let's say that me and him are in Kansas City together, and we do make a video together, and I'm like, and I introduce him. Are you gonna, oh my God, I was supposed to be stopping her from having a husband. You can't stop me from having a husband. I've had people come on here and I'm like, are you a lesbian or something? What's going on here? What? It's weird. And then trying to make it look real by putting this man out here that is an agent that you've been working with for years. It's fraud. You're committing fraud. It's a lot. It is. It's a lot, and it's annoying. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that straight up and down. And I want to say this on a side note before I go, because I'm about to go. Any of y'all that have a situation like that where you have some weird person following you around talking about, oh, I'm gonna fuck up you and your man, and which is weird. I've never seen that fucking happen before. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, are you a lesbian or something? Like, maybe you've got some repressed homosexual tendencies, because why are you a woman and you're trying to tell me that you're going to change my destiny to where it's bizarre to me. Okay, it really I'm not even going to lie to you, and I don't understand why people are not embarrassed. If you're a person that needs for me to not exist, for you to come on here and have social media clout, there's a problem. What you needed to do years ago was move on. You got to prove to the world that, and it's very circumstantial. Like I said, the issues, yeah, like probably a minute part, a huge part of that was, yeah, you delayed some things. I believe that, but mainly that was because of the family issues that I'm dealing with, that I'm not at liberty to discuss, as to why I was delayed in meeting him by 6 years. Again, I don't know what the obsession is. I kind of do know what the obsession is, but I think it's sick, and I think you need to rethink your actions. You are a pervert if you're sitting around wondering what Jamila is doing, uh and literally harassing me, trying to make it seem like you could ever stop somebody from loving me. You're insane. And I'm willing to bet my entire heart chakra that you a fucking lie. So I'm gonna put my heart on it. is what I'm gonna do. I don't even see how you can't be embarrassed to be following somebody around, acting like a man, and you're gonna for it, like it's sexual abuse. It is. It's weird. It is. And you gonna put a root on somebody that you don't even know. You don't know his name. Even if you knew his name, you still wouldn't be able to put a root on him. All this bullshit. I'm just sick of it. Because somehow that validates me. If I have a man, who the fuck is with somebody for validation for their career? Like, especially when it comes to, I've never understood that. So, anywho, let me go. Bye.